Each day right before sunrise, I head to the far end of my backyard garden and glide my fingers across a modest stack of sleek, dark river rocks nestled in a shallow dirt groove. The air around me hangs bone dry, and the ground just a short distance off is rock hard from the heat. But these stones beneath my touch glisten with new wetness. Tiny beads of water are forming right on the bottom sides of the rocks, trickling straight into the deep roots of the veggie patches planted nearby. There's no concealed piping underground or timed sprinklers at work. This is an overlooked feat of basic engineering that harvests endless water for about a $20 outlay on basic supplies. Rather than shelling out for pricey plastic pumps or battling water bills, we're harnessing the thermal properties of everyday stones to draw dew directly from the air. I've fed my family from this yard's produce for 30 years, counting on this setup because it's a proven fact, not a roll of the dice. It operates by creating a rapid chill precisely where the air meets the soil. Today, I'll demonstrate the quantifiable science driving this nightly dew formation. I'll guide you through the exact arrangement, the best local stone varieties to gather, and the precise trench angles to dig, so you can install this enduring, no-power water harvester in your own space. Over 2,000 years back, a whole society flourished in one of Earth's harshest deserts, not by uncovering secret streams, but by controlling stone temperatures. The Nabatean people erected their realm and verdant farm terraces around the ancient city of Petra, even with virtually no rain. Lacking deep drills or powered pumps, they endured by grasping how heat flows through various substances. They observed the daily climate pattern and spotted a clear physical progression. Sunlight scorched the landscape by day, but come sunset, the desert air plunged in temperature. They deliberately collected and piled certain dense rocks into intentional heaps at the feet of their grapevines and orchards. These rock clusters served as heat sinks. Since stone loses warmth quicker than nearby soil, the piles turned icy as midnight neared. When the unseen humidity borne on evening breezes swept over the sands and hit those cooled rocks, the vapor had no escape. It swiftly turned from gas to thick liquid drops. This moisture pooled under the rocks and seeped steadily into the ground. At daybreak, the upper rock surfaces warmed once more. Yet that rocky cover now functioned as a barrier, stopping the fierce dawn rays from vaporizing the new water locked in the subsoil. Their whole culture hinged on this dependable cooling effect. They showed that plentiful liquid water always floats in the air overhead, and drawing it to plant roots simply requires the proper chilled barrier in its way. We don't need just old tales to validate this. Contemporary farm research has validated it under today's toughest growing conditions. Agronomists in relief zones like the high-altitude volcanic deserts of the Canary Islands and the arid expanses of the lowest plateaus have conducted long-term controlled trials on this rock-soil heat exchange. Their published findings are conclusive, matching what I track with a basic moisture sensor in my yard. When teams mulched crop root zones with organized gravel and polished stones, they saw a huge, lasting boost in water holding. The stone cover basically works like a unidirectional moisture gate. Research confirmed that in peak daytime heat, the rock barrier repels intense sunlight and fierce dry gusts, slashing topsoil evaporation by as much as 40% versus bare earth. The key data came post-sunset. Sensors under the rocks showed atmospheric dew alone, delivering the equivalent of multiple inches of rain across one dry period. The cold stones effectively wrung humidity from the evening breeze, injecting real liquid into the soil depths night by night. In my garden plots after 3 or 4 rainless weeks in late August, the open soil strips crack and powder to 6 inches down. Yet, when I head to my condensation trenches and lift the dark river stones, the soil beneath feels weighty, sticking together in clumps as I grab it, and my analog gauges always show strong moisture readings. The evidence is rock solid and easy to test, just by swapping out the stuff sitting over the roots with a cheap $20 outlay. You transform the local conditions, converting scorched soil into a self-sustaining reservoir that draws moisture straight from the atmosphere. To grasp how this plays out in your own ground, consider the unseen pressure of the air hovering just above. Even on the parched afternoon of a summer scorcher, with dust swirling at your feet, the air carries a huge amount of water in suspension. It's just vaporized, too diffuse to notice. You've seen this principle in action before. If you've ever left a chilled glass of iced tea outside in July, soon the exterior is slick with moisture. It's not spilling, the icy chill is yanking the hidden humidity from the balmy air. We're replicating that precise cooling effect in the garden, but amplified, using everyday stones. The rocks around the plants serve as the cooling catalyst. During the day, they soak up the sun's rays. Then, as soon as dusk falls, the process flips. Beneath a starry sky, the ground releases its stored heat upward. Since hefty stones lose heat way faster than fluffy surface soil, they quickly chill below the night air's temperature. As soft evening winds carry humid, warm air over your plot, it meets the icy rock faces. Once the stone dips under the dew point threshold, a phase shift happens. The contacting air chills abruptly, contracts, and can't retain its vapor anymore. That unseen moisture condenses into tangible liquid beads. This isn't speculation, it's pure physics. Whenever the rock stays cooler than the air's dew point, droplets keep forming on it steadily through the night. When those dense beads gather under the cold stones, gravity kicks in. They grow until they detach and plunge right onto the earth below, on exposed, baked dirt. This would just evaporate off the crust at dawn. But with the stones blanketing it, the underlying soil stays friable, shaded, and absorbent. It behaves like a thirsty sponge. The drops soak in without runoff, sucked deep by capillary forces through the layers. They sink beyond the surface inch, reaching the roots of your veggies or trees. By sunrise, as temps climb, the stones warm but now shield like armor, repelling harsh rays and desiccating gusts that would otherwise suck the ground dry. The nighttime harvested water stays locked deep underground. Plant roots crave these moist pockets. Over weeks, they'll quest toward the cool, wet channels under the rocks, weaving a thick web where fresh supply arrives daily. You're crafting a standalone micro-ecosystem at soil level. No need for fancy physics lessons. The proof shows when you unearth a robust plant mid-drought. Grab a shovel and master the setup basics. With the mechanics of capturing and holding that water clear, let's round up the exact gear to install this in your yard. For your backyard setup, snag just a handful of targeted items from a nearby landscaping spot for under $20 total. The heart of this air moisture harvester hinges on your rock selection. Go for ones with ideal heat capacity and texture. Sleek, dark, impermeable stones. Dark river rocks or polished basalt excel as their hue. Grabs daytime heat fast, fueling a sharp nighttime chill for maximum effect. Steer clear of light-colored limestone or superporous pumice, since those either bounce back too much sunlight or soak up the moisture straight into their pores instead of letting it trickle down to your soil. Head to the supply yard and ask the worker for a modest batch of stones about golf ball sized, up to fist sized. Getting this size just right matters a lot. Stones that are too tiny, like pea gravel, clump up densely and block airflow, so the warm evening breeze can't weave through the spaces to drop off the humidity. Ones that are too big cut down on the total surface area needed for serious dew buildup. For a typical backyard veggie patch or a handful of fruit trees, 3 or 4 hefty canvas sacks of these river rocks will kick things off nicely. Skip any plastic tubing, fake cloths, or fancy valves. Grab a plain steel spade from the shed instead. Haul your stones to the bare soil where you're planning to plant, and we'll start forming the real earth features that lock in this ongoing irrigation setup. Head out with your spade to the precise planting spot for your veggie seedlings or around your established fruit trees. Don't just heap the rocks onto level, baked hard ground. The collected water requires a proper depression to pool and seep to the roots. Start by scooping a gentle trench in a broad circle around the plant's base. Dig about 4 inches into the topsoil, stretching the outer rim to the drip line, right beneath the outermost branches of the tree, or the full reach of your grown veggie. As you pull out the soil, tilt the trench floor to slope softly toward the central stalk. This angle uses plane gravity, so every fat droplet from the rocks flows straight to the main roots instead of sitting at the sides. With the shallow depression formed, grab those dark river rocks from the yard and lay them into the basin. Don't dump them out in a jumble. Position them manually for a uniform covering over the exposed earth. Aim for roughly 3 inches thick, stacking them loosely atop each other. It's vital to keep little air spaces between the stones as you set them. Those voids act as the system's breathing passages. The chilly night air sweeping your garden must pass freely through them, carrying airborne water vapor right onto the icy inner rock faces. Filling the trench with soil or sand would seal off the breeze and kill the cooling effect. When the last rocks sit level with the ground around them, you've crafted a lasting hands-off moisture catcher. The setup blends right into the soil, staying clear of mowers or carts, poised silently for dusk when the natural forces kick in. After embedding the stones, the whole thing operates independently. Still, you can't set it and ignore it for years. From my 3 decades tending this ground, I've found that nature-based methods demand regular checks. And this heat-driven water collector has a key weak spot: those air channels amid the dark river rocks. As seasons shift, fall gusts will scatter dry leaves, pine needles, and loose surface soil everywhere. If that stuff packs into the trench and breaks down between rocks, it forms an insulating layer that stops wind flow and warms the stones, blocking the steep evening chill. No cold stone contact means no dew, and your $20 setup reverts to ordinary pebbles. The fix is dead simple, just 10 minutes twice yearly. Late fall, once trees drop leaves, and early spring pre-planting. Use a firm bristle broom or leaf blower to sweep the stone basins clean. If summer storms have dumped mud in there, don't ignore it. Every 4 to 5 years, glove up, lift the rocks out onto a tarp, and spade away the built-up soil to restore the crisp 4-inch depth. Hose the stones quick to rinse off the grime, then reload them into the trench. You're essentially refreshing the heat storage. I've watched people attempt to bypass this maintenance by placing synthetic weed barrier fabric under the stones, thinking it'll prevent soil from blending in. Avoid that error entirely. Those plastic sheets disrupt the soil's natural capillary draw, causing moisture to pool atop the fabric and vaporize rather than penetrate deeply to the roots as it should. Position the bare rocks straight on the naked ground. Ensure the spaces between them stay free of any clutter, and the natural forces will keep drawing down atmospheric water for ages. Once you pull away and survey the finished trench, it's no mystical wonder or trendy, untested trick. It's straightforward science that's sustained farming in Earth's toughest environments for millennia. For just $20 on ordinary river rocks and one afternoon digging with a plain steel spade, you've transformed your backyard's local weather patterns forever. The outcomes are fully testable, trackable with a simple analog soil moisture meter. In the initial month after setting up these rock basins, you'll see a sharp decrease in hauling that cumbersome hose over the grass. Your water costs will plunge since you're done footing the bill for utilities to offset constant topsoil drying. Rather, you're harnessing the unseen nighttime humidity wafting over your yard and channeling it right to your plant's profound taproots. The crops will demonstrate the clear gains. In late summer scorchers, when bare earth crumbles to powder and unguarded veggies start drooping and shedding immature produce, those rooted in these dew-gathering channels stand tall, vibrantly green, and fruiting steadily. Their roots stay shielded from the scorching dawn rays and steadily nourished by the chilled rocks overhead. For 30 years I've depended on this precise natural process to sustain my household, as it demands no brittle plastic pumps, city water supply, or timers that fail under heat. It banks solely on the unchanging principles of thermal mass, air moisture collection, and gravity. Simply place those proper dark stones into the soil. Maintain pristine airflow gaps, free of fallen leaves, and allow the evening chill to work. Let it handle your garden's labor season after season.